miss me.
Hi, this is Bruce from The Pineapple Thief, and you're watching Morow.com. We've got a new record coming out called Your Wilderness. Hope you can check it out. It's brilliant.
Oh, don't be afraid to miss me.
Exploded, spontaneously combusted on stage. So obviously Dan came in for Magnolia and obviously did a great job for us, but he had other things to commit to in his career, so he just couldn't commit to a new album. So instead of auditioning another band or getting a permanent replacement, we just decided to go as a three-piece and use guest drummers. So that's that, yeah. Now there's three. Well, you know, obviously it would be nice, wouldn't it? But you know, Gavin has got a very, very busy schedule, touring with King Crimson. So who knows? You never know. One day, maybe. I mean, I certainly couldn't imagine doing another Pineapple Thief studio album without Gavin drumming. Put it that way. After his input on this record. Yeah, we knew we were gonna we were asking for trouble, but with Gavin, when the label suggested using Gavin Harrison, I immediately said no, we can't do that, not because of all of the Porcupine Tree, Stephen Wilson comparisons. But then I looked at the music and I looked at it actually musically. Who would I choose to drum on this record if I could choose any drummer? And Gavin Harrison was number one choice, and I'm glad I did. I think I'd be selling out if I said no, I can't do Gavin Harrison because people are going to compare me to Porcupine Tree and everything. But so far the reaction's been great. You know, there's been no negative. I was waiting for some sarcastic comments about Porcupine Tree, but so far everyone online has just said brilliant. Gavin drumming with the Pineapple Thief, brilliant news. You know, dream sort of. Lineup. So yeah, I personally think it was the right choice. Well, I did, but it was much more collaborative in terms of the way that the album came together, much more so than any other record. I wrote very, very basic songs to a level that was, you know, very, very stripped back, and gave it to all of the guys. In fact, Gavin put his drums down first, and they were so inspirational, his parts, that the rest of us sort of, I guess we had to raise our game a bit, and we all went back, and it made me revisit the songs and play the parts, change the songs. And Gavin also contributed to changing the arrangements of some of the songs as well, and the structures of some of the songs, making them rhythmically more interesting. So all in all, it's a great, really good collaborative album. The first time, I think it was probably the first time that it's truly a band production. So yeah, I think for the 11th record we had to do something different. Where are we now then? So we're in May, so about 6 months. I'd say 6 months from starting writing to finishing the mixes. So for me, that's quite quick. Yeah, it was a very enjoyable record actually to make. Maybe, I do remember when I said to K-Scope, look, the album's 42 minutes, is that too short? They replied, says, no, that's perfect, because it means that it's, you know, perfect for vinyl. And also, you know, when I was growing up, I bought all my albums on vinyl, so 40 minutes was a long album, you know, in the 70s. So it's only when CD came out that bands seemed obsessed with cramming it full up to 74 minutes or whatever, which is way too long, personally, I think, for a record. And we agreed that we'd much rather people got to the end and were like, oh, I want more, leave them wanting more. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit like Emperor's New Clothes a bit in terms of people saying that vinyl is this holy grail of fidelity. I think probably the future for fidelity is high resolution digital, in my opinion. But vinyl has a certain romance as well to it, and for me, the ritual of picking up a record that's this big that you can see, taking out the record and putting it on a turntable, that's got a special, for me, special, maybe nostalgic importance. But in terms of fidelity, I think it's a little bit, but the fact that people, I think, for collectors, I think it's important. For people that want to own something and hold something, and feel like they own a part of a band, then I think vinyl's the perfect.
But your professional ears don't hear something more on vinyl?
Well, no, because the ironic thing is that all the stuff that's going onto vinyl nowadays comes from the digital domain, so it's a bit daft to say that it sounds better. If you want to hear it in its original format, you get it digitally, not on CD, because that's lower resolution than we record it in the studio. So, but if you hear a record on a top of the range hi-fi that costs probably about £10,000, then yeah, it does sound fantastic. It's definitely a different sound. But yeah, I think it's a little bit.
Every weekend dawn, it's you I see, coming back to me.
In the US, but these are photos that Carl's gone around collecting since he's been 18. Since he was 18 years old, just goes around flea markets, where people selling old photo snaps. So we don't know who they are, who these people are, but he developed this selection. And when I suggested Carl Glover, and again I was like, Carl Glover, are you sure? Carl Glover of Black Phil, No Man, Marillion, etc. But it was like, well, when he showed me the artwork and the ideas, it was like, that's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So it fits in perfectly with the concept of the record, the wilderness concept. I mean, it's a loose concept, and but it is about it's separation and loss with people who you love, and specifically when I was writing it, it's about a parent and a child, and the wilderness is about the growth and growing into life. So as myself as a child, my children looking into life as their wilderness. But then the concept and some of the ideas behind the songs are what happens when that child is gone, or leaves, or there's irreconcilable differences, horrible things, and then people are left alone, sad, the light has gone from their life, that kind of thing. That's what No Man's Land was about. So that's generally what the concept is, and it's the idea is that you're supposed to, for me, by writing about these things, it makes you appreciate what you have in life. So there's always a positive reason for writing these songs.
Hold you close.
So again, that is about estrangement with a child. So this is effectively this is a scenario where your son, in my case, my son, would run away from home or leave home too soon and effectively go off the rails, and the line washed up on that shore is the child being life just falling apart, and the coda is the child talking back to the parent, where it says I had no choice because we were fighting, we were at war, and sometimes this happens. So it's quite sad. Quite a sad song, but again, it's about making sure that where I take sort of warmth from that is that I just will not let that happen. Well, that's a big $1 million question, isn't it? Because we underestimated how much of an impact Gavin would have on the sound of the record and the feel. We can't imagine taking it on the road without Gavin playing drums. It won't feel right, but whether that will ever happen, we don't know. He's busy with King Crimson, and who knows what what Gavin will have next. I mean, I know that he enjoyed playing on the record and likes the record, but touring it is a completely different kettle of fish. So we don't know what we're going to do. Either we will definitely tour it, but hope ideally Gavin would drum. I'm hoping that somehow we can make that happen. But if that doesn't happen, then we'll find a way of doing the songs and Gavin's playing some kind of justice. But as you know, no one really sounds like Gavin as a drummer, so it'll be difficult.
Yeah, but it will be a good name on the bill.
Oh, it'd be fantastic, yeah. It would be fantastic for us, believe me. We'll do anything we can to get Gavin to come and play, because he played on the album, and that's how it should sound. Not to mention, the fact that it will sound amazing, but like you say, he doesn't need to do the tour. He'd have to do it for the real love of it. So. And if he had time in his schedule, it's all these other things. So we'll see. I'll never say never.
Okay, so it could happen.
Could happen.
It could happen at the end of the year, or
maybe, yeah.
Even
That's
in
maybe January,
2017.
Yeah. I think that's like if it happened that's when it would happen.